Hey guys, so just back again with the next video of the D&D series. So I'm here with my partner AJ,
Hi.
and I'm just going to go through similar to how I did in the last video about what we like about RPG gaming and all his characters and all that kind of stuff. So do you want to start with what you enjoy about RPG gaming?
Yeah, like I find with RPG gaming, it's a good way to get together with your friends and socialize, but also get out of your own head and just do things that you couldn't normally do in real life. So, say for a space of 2 to 6 hours, you are that character. So essentially, you basically get to live out almost a second life with a character that can do things that you can't do in the real world.
Awesome. And you've been doing this for a lot longer than me, so do you want to tell me about the characters that you've done so far?
Well, I've only been in the same amount of campaigns this year. I've been in the 3 campaigns. So with our current play group. So I've only done 3 characters as well.
Yeah.
So my first one was Kigare. He was a monk, like a martial artist, but he was a snake man. So he was basically looked like a regular human, but snake skin all over. He was a elemental monk, so he was like learning the 5 elemental dragon style martial arts, if you want to say that. And then the character after that was in the same campaign as Salas was Kira, and she was a medic. She was a medic sorcerer. If you want to call it arcane medic. Yeah, she was adorable but off-putting. And then this current campaign, I'm Galt Regara. He's a shield and spear kind of warrior, big, tall. Yeah, that's pretty much my characters at this time. Galt's a Earth Dragon blooded. He's 7'6" ish. He's huge. He's become a measuring stick for the other like NPCs and stuff in the game. They're like, he's almost as big as Galt, or he's a little bit taller than Galt, or he's not tall as Galt. So he's like a measuring stick. Kira was small, blonde, typical anime looking girl with a white dress and a giant mace that was like almost twice the size of her. Which didn't really bother her at all. She carried it around like it was nothing, like it was an umbrella.
And she would not let go of it.
No, she could not let. Oh, she could, but it was very, very hard for her to let go of it because she had such sentimental attachment to it.
So what inspired each of those characters?
With Kigare, I wanted to it was my first character, so I wanted something that would make an impact in the campaign, like someone that could get into the fight and but also have a lot of stuff that would happen in the story. Like I wanted someone like I didn't want to be like that background character that just sits there and like I'm a medic or I'm a cleric, I'm a whatever. So he ended up being like he was following a path, but he also had a big impact in the story. Like lots of stuff happened around him. Like he ended up starting his own academy for young martial artists, and he ended up having like I think 12 or 13 kids that he was training at any time. And he was also there was lots of story elements that he got involved in, which was really good. Because I love to be involved in the story. Like I love to be front and center, I guess. With Kira was she had the tragic backstory. She was her brother was a militant. He went off to war, didn't come back. They only brought back his shield and his mace, and she kind of took that as her magical foci. She got sent off to a academy where she was trained but also slightly tortured, so she had a little bit of PTSD. They had a conditioning room, but she had a lot of self issues, but she was also very, very set on helping other people. But like I said, off-putting. Like she would be this unassuming 5 foot nothing, adorable girl. And then she'd be like, they'd be like, "Oh, what book are you reading there, Kira?" And she's like, "Oh, Big Book of Empowerment."
Or amputations.
"Oh, do you think I could stitch this gaping stomach wound?" Like just off-putting stuff like that. She was very unassuming, but very, very good. And she kind of, in a way, devolved into the party psychiatrist. Where I was doing almost like mental like dives into one of our party's subconscious, because he was multiple personality. So, and Galt is me finally getting back to playing my chosen class, which is tank. Whereas I'm very militant and I'm very to the point. I'm very to the job. I will I'm very protective of the other parties in combat, out of combat, kind of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's just me getting back to my RPG roots, I guess.
Awesome. And what's been the favourite moments out of all the campaigns?
So with Kigare, like I really liked, there was a scene where like a session where I had to do all this stuff, where I like had to retrieve all these pass all these tests to get the blessings of this wind god. I think it was a god of wind.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
And I had to do all these tests, and the last one was a sparring match against one of the disciples of the temple, and it was just a really intense fighting session. Like a lot of us were really putting it in a lot. And also the fighting pit session, where I when I jumped in and then I did lightning on all the pillars and they were all zapping and stuff. I created like a huge light show and everyone was like, "Yeah!"
That's one of the ones where my character nearly died.
That was one of the sessions where your character nearly died. And that's because she couldn't say no. Like she didn't want to say stop.
She had to always do the fight.
She didn't want to say no. But just those sessions that had like a lot of drama and impact, like that sparring match was like at the end of it, like we were both completely drained. And with Kira, one of my favorite moments are like, I don't want to say funny moments, but like funny moments, like me saving the hooker. Well, she wasn't a hooker, but I mean, she was like, everyone was calling her a hooker.
The not dead hooker.
The not dead hooker. Because everyone was like, she's dead. I'm like, I saved her. She's still alive.
The not dead, not hooker.
Yeah, they're not dead. They're not dead, not hooker. Yeah, and just like, she would get so upset when, she only had like a white dress. She had 2 white dresses, and every time they got ruined, like they get blood on them, and like someone would be like, they'd be like, "Oh, you got blood on you," and she's like, "Don't worry, I'll get more on it later." Like, or when I dropped someone was trying to carry me. I think it was you trying to carry me, and I dropped my mace into the ground to be like a counterweight to stop you from running.
Yeah.
Or
you did that several times.
Oh, like my absolute favorite moment with Kira was when I got sent back to the town to bring them back, and they told me to like stall them.
Oh yeah.
And so I literally took this group of people back to our camp to do a meeting, and they told me to like make it as long as possible. So I was skipping through the forest, picking flowers, making flower crowns for people, just to waste time. But I was like, oh, I'll pick some of these flowers, I'll pick some of these flowers, I'll pick some of these flowers, pick some every colour. Just because everyone needs different coloured flower crowns, because that's the thing that I need to do right now.
And one of our party members had a different dress every day.
Ayumi. I needed to make a lot of flower crowns because she had different coloured dresses. And currently with Gold, in the first session I managed to scare someone to death by saying who sent you. Like he was spying on us and we caught him, and then I was like, who sent you? And I rolled intimidate, and he actually shat his pants and died.
That was actually pretty funny because no one expected that to happen.
I wasn't trying to kill him. Like, I never meant to. But then even last session, like, when I was trying to intimidate the soldiers to bring the guy that we wanted out of the gates, like, because we were trying to get him out so we could fight him or kill him or whatever, and it still hasn't happened yet. We don't know if he's going to die yet. I was like, because we just killed, like I didn't do anything, but Carly's character and another character from our party just killed 100 soldiers. It didn't take him very long either. I'm like, okay, better send him out. You just saw what happened. You don't want to wait for another 5 minutes to see what happens in another 5 minutes. So send him out now, or you're probably not going to go home to your families tonight. And then they were like, I rolled Intimidate pretty well, so they ended up sending him out. So that's probably so far with Galt favorite moments.
And have you found any challenges with the characters?
With Kigare, the challenge was walking the straight and narrow, because he was a very strict, like, martial arts like character. Like, he's like, I must do right, but it's very hard when other people get involved in shenanigans not to get involved in shenanigans, kind of just.
And trying not to become the taxi for the party.
I did that anyway. I became the.
You were the taxi.
My air dragon form was the taxi for the whole party. I could turn into an air dragon and fly around, and they were like, "Give me a ride." I'm like, "Okay."
Mainly me, because otherwise it'd take me forever to get anywhere with snow.
That was the challenge with the guy, being that good, honest, honorable. You walk your path, I walk my path kind of character was a challenge for me. With Kira, being so vulnerable in combat was a challenge. Like, she had a lot of melee, but as soon as I took a hit, because I had no armor, I was very, very weak. And playing a character with so many mental flaws, like, she was extremely prone to, like, self-doubt, and as soon as somebody said something doubtful of her, like her work, she would become very, very sallow and upset. Like, if they didn't think my stitching work was good enough on a wound, or if they didn't think I could do something, I was very, very like, oh, maybe I can't. Oh, I probably can't. Oh, I suck.
Boy, there was a lot of party members that were always reassuring.
Yeah, but the problem is, once I got into that headspace, it was very hard to get me out of it. And with Galt, I'm finding that I need to get in the thick of combat more. Like, it's only been 2 sessions, so I shouldn't say that, but I need to be in there. I need to be taking hits for me to be useful. So that's one thing that I'm aiming to get better at with Galt.
And it's obviously it's taking you a bit of time to develop these characters. Do you have, like, emotional connection to them in a particular way? Or?
Well, Kigari, I definitely did. Like, he was like, I put so much time and effort into creating him, because in the system we make, martial arts is like a wormhole. Like, you go down the wormhole of martial arts, and just this leads into this, and it just becomes like this big thing. Like, I put a lot of, and additionally into the kids that he was training as well, they all became their own NPCs with names and uniqueness. Like, every single one of those 12 kids had a thing that they could do really well, and they had a name and they had a use. So I put a lot of time into him and everything connected to him. So that's where the emotional connection was found for me. And with Kira, similar to what you did with Silas, I put a bit of myself in her with the self-doubt and stuff like that, which I had a lot at a younger age. Like, I had a lot of that still now to some degree. So playing that out in a character that wasn't me was a challenge, because I had to think of not how I would deal with this kind of issue, but how would she deal with it? Like, what actions would she take being who she is, other than the actions that I would take, because I'm not the character. And with Gold, haven't had like that much time to connect with him, but I like getting back to my roots. Tank is the character that I play in RPGs. Tank is my bread and butter. So my emotional connection there is that's my roots. That's my RPG character of choice. And yeah, so I'm really keen to see where I get to go with him.
So you were saying that with Kira you had you put some of your own personality in there. Was there any other aspects that you've put in in terms of Kigari and Gold?
Kigari was a very proud character. Like he was a very this is what I've built. I'm very proud of my thing, but also he was very set in his ways, which I can be as well. So there was a moment in that first campaign when a demon put up a shrine. I put up a shrine in a temple, and I got Kigari as a character. I can't say I because it's not me. Kigari got very upset about it. It turns out the demon was on a path to redemption, and he wasn't doing anything bad. But Kigari couldn't let it go. He couldn't accept the fact that this wasn't a bad thing. This was a demonic shrine in a temple. Couldn't accept it. I want to say that's a personality trait, but he was very set in his ways, and I can be set in my ways as well. Like I'm sure we all can. I found Kigari was very nurturing and very inclusive of all the other party members. I'm like that as well. Like I find that I try to get along with everyone. And Kigari, even the characters he had a little bit of friction with, he was like, you know what? That's their path. This is my path. They're people. I can get along with them. I can deal with it. He was very easygoing and chill, but impressive at the same time. And I find as well sometimes with RPGs, you have to step away from your own hang-ups. Things might happen in the campaign that you as a person aren't okay with, you don't like, but you got to step back and react how your character would react. Say with Silas, for instance, if there was torture going on, like torture or someone trying to get information out of someone that were torturing them, as a person, you might say, hey, this isn't okay. But as the character Silas, in a fantasy setting, they're going, these torturers are just doing their job.
Oh, that's exactly the way
that's
it was.
Fine. This is fine. That's basically and with Kira, once again, the self-doubt and all that kind of angsty PTSD stuff. She had a tragic backstory where she'd been missing her brother, and she'd been through a lot of abuse, physically and mentally, and she was still trying to recover, but still trying to be the best for the party. So, yeah.
What about Gold?
Gold is the strong silent type. He doesn't say much unless he needs to, and I find sometimes I can be like that, especially with new people. I can be that standoffish kind of person, and Gold's like that as well. So that's a little bit of me coming through in Gold. He's one of those you can lean on me kind of people. So yeah.
Awesome. And probably I guess the last thing is what other ideas have you got in the works as kind of I guess a backstop character? God forbid something happens to Gold.
See, my backup ideas are really odd. I love the idea. I really want to play a bard style character, not even a traditional bard, he plays a lute or whatever, but I'd love to play a bard that just takes the sounds of nature or of battle and uses them as a weapon. So swords clinking against swords, shields being hit, the sound of horse hooves on the ground, and uses them to weave into magic to affect the world around him. Or the other one I nearly passed up Galt for this time was an anti-paladin, like a fallen paladin, like they used to be really, really, hey, God is like this God is great. You better listen to this God because he's really cool. Like the anti side where they're fallen and they're like they feel like all holy people are heretics and they just want to erase everything religious from the world. Which is like the opposite of a paladin. Same concept, different implication. So that's the one that I nearly went with instead of Galt. Like it would have been a more dark backstory that I went with. But yeah, that's the other thing that I would have went with.
But to be fair, with my characters, Dark Energy is
this would have been a super duper dark. I was going half when I was making the concept for that character. I was going half demon.
Yeah, see, you go like most of my characters are Dark Energy. I tried to go away from Dark Energy with Serena.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with like being a light springy character. Like there's something to be said for that kind of. But like the other character idea that I really want to do, like if it comes around to it, like I found in the book this really cool paired artifact. It's 2 swords, and there's like a sword. It's like a sword sibling kind of thing. So the 2 swords are linked. And like they get bonuses for if you're defending or attacking on behalf of the other party. So, but I think we have to wait for the Lunar rules to come out for that because one of the swords is Moon Silver.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, Moon Silver, and that's the Lunar medal. So I think we need to wait for the Lunar rules to drop for that, which I'm really keen for because I will make a Lunar in a heartbeat. I can't wait for the Lunar rules to drop.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover about your characters?
Not particularly. Just a bit of insight into the actual game itself. Like, so you were saying before with D&D they use D20s, D6s, all a range of dice. We use just D10s, and the way it works is the storyteller sets a challenge value or takes a challenge value. And you take your ability score and your attribute score, you add them together, and that's how many D10s you get to roll. You can modify that through charms and other things, but and bonuses, specialties, stuff like that. But generally, 7 and higher is a success, with 10s being 2 successes. So if you roll a 10, you get 2 successes. And as long as the amount of successes you get beats the challenge number, usually you succeed. So that's just a little bit of insight in player rolling.
But if you get a whole bunch of 1s, things get really interesting.
But if you get no successes and a 1, it's a botch. So that's something negative usually happens. But if you get no successes and 2 1s, it's a double botch. Something worse happens. If you get no successes, 3 1s, triple botch, so on and so forth, and it just gets worse. Like
better.
I
depending on how you want to look at it.
As Kigare, I double botched at the start of the campaign on a perception check, and I was convinced that I saw an air dragon. I was 100% sure. I went around telling people I saw it. I didn't see a damn thing, but I believed it. We've had characters double botch, and we got a botch this last session, and our character was going to a job interview, and she got absolutely covered in mud, just like splattered.
That was fun.
It's just a range of things to happen that can happen. Yeah, but additionally, I'm also looking at throwing my hat into a GMing kind of perspective. I've got a closed campaign I did with characters that have already with pre-built characters that I'm looking to start event sometime soon, and I'm also looking at doing a survival horror RPG with just basic, like, you're not like a superhuman character, you're just a regular old human. So that might be something that I'm going to get into soon. Yeah, I may be looking for players soon. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll leave it there. I think we've covered everything. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and hopefully we will have another video with one of our party members or our GM for you soon.
See ya.
See ya.